Imagine you were sitting in a quiet room, sipping your favorite drink, when suddenly a message pops up on your phone. It's something unexpected, maybe bad news, a rude comment, or an unsettling update. In an instant, your peaceful moment is shattered. Your mind starts racing, your heart beats faster, and your emotions take over. Why does this happen? Why do we let small things disturb our inner peace so easily? Have you ever noticed how a single bad moment can ruin an entire day? How one negative comment can stay in your mind for hours, even days? Why do we allow external situations to control our happiness? Is it really possible to reach a state where nothing affects us deeply? Think about a time when you were truly happy, but then something small changed everything. Maybe it was a criticism from someone, an unexpected challenge, or just a minor inconvenience. We often let these things shape our emotions, pulling us in different directions. But what if you could break free from this? What if you could stay calm, no matter what happens? Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we explore deep insights to transform your mind and life. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% of viewers subscribe. So please, if you find value in this video, like, comment, share, and subscribe to support us. And most importantly, drop your thoughts in the comments. We truly appreciate every single one. In this video, we will uncover the ancient wisdom of Buddhism, which teaches us how to remain unaffected by life's ups and downs. You will learn why our minds react the way they do, and how to regain control over your emotions. By the end of this journey, you will see challenges differently and develop an unshakable sense of peace. Buddhism teaches that suffering begins in the mind. When we attach ourselves to things, whether it's people, possessions, or even our own thoughts, we become vulnerable. If we seek happiness from external sources, we remain at their mercy. But the moment we realize that peace comes from within, everything changes. The Buddha taught that impermanence is the nature of life. Everything is always changing: situations, emotions, relationships, even our own thoughts. But we often resist this truth. We cling to the idea that things should stay the same, and when they don't, we suffer. Imagine standing in a river, trying to stop the water from flowing. The harder you resist, the more exhausted you become. But the moment you let go, you start to float effortlessly. This is the essence of inner peace. One of the greatest Buddhist teachings is non-attachment, the ability to experience life fully without being controlled by it. This doesn't mean you stop caring or become emotionless. It means you develop a deep understanding that everything is temporary, and nothing has the power to disturb your mind unless you allow it. So, how do we begin this journey? How can we train our minds to remain still, no matter what happens? The first step is awareness, noticing when emotions take over and understanding why they do. The second step is practice, learning to observe thoughts without reacting to them. And the third step is wisdom, realizing that nothing outside of you has control over your inner state. Throughout this video, we will explore these ideas in depth. We will break down complex Buddhist principles into simple, practical steps that you can apply to your daily life. By the end, you will have the tools to remain calm, no matter what life throws at you. Are you ready to take control of your mind? Are you ready to free yourself from unnecessary suffering? Then stay with us as we begin this life-changing journey together. The nature of the mind, understanding your thoughts. Sit with me for a moment, breathe in and out. Now, tell me, have you ever noticed how your mind never stops? It jumps from one thought to another, like a restless monkey swinging from branch to branch. One moment, you are thinking about something that happened years ago. The next, you are worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet. But have you ever stopped and asked, what is this mind that keeps running? Then why does it control us so easily? Most people believe their thoughts are reality. If a thought tells them they are not good enough, they believe it. If a thought tells them something bad will happen, they feel anxious. But thoughts are not reality. They are just passing clouds in the sky of your mind. Yet, we chase them, hold on to them, and let them dictate our emotions. Why? Because we have never learned to observe them without getting lost in them. Imagine sitting by a river, watching leaves float by. Each leaf represents a thought. Some are pleasant, like memories of happy times. Others are unpleasant, like worries or regrets. But the river keeps flowing. You do not need to grab onto any leaf. You do not need to push any away. You simply watch. This is how you must learn to observe your thoughts, without attachment, without judgment. The problem is, we don't watch our thoughts. We believe them. If a fearful thought arises, we panic. If an angry thought comes, we react. But here's the truth. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts come and go, but your awareness, your true self, remains. Imagine the sky. No matter how many storms pass through it, the sky itself is untouched. Your mind is the same. The storms of thought may come, but they do not define you. But most people never realize this. They live their whole lives trapped in their own minds, reacting to every passing thought. If the mind says, I am not good enough, they feel small. If the mind says, this person is against me, they get angry. If the mind says, I will fail, they feel hopeless. But what if you could step back? What if you could watch your mind instead of being controlled by it? Buddha once said, what we think, we become. If you fill your mind with negativity, fear, and doubt, your life will reflect that. If you cultivate peace, wisdom, and understanding, your life will change. But to do this, you must first understand the nature of your mind. You must realize that thoughts are just passing visitors. They only stay if you invite them in. Have you ever had a terrible thought and wondered, why did I think that? The truth is, thoughts arise on their own. You do not create them. They come from memories, emotions, and experiences buried deep inside you. But just because a thought appears does not mean you must follow it. A wise person sees thoughts as guests. Some are welcome, some are not, but none should take control of the house. Let me give you an example. Imagine a stranger knocks on your door. You open it, and they start yelling terrible things. Would you invite them inside, make them tea, and listen to them for hours? No. You would close the door. Yet, when negative thoughts enter our minds, we let them in. We entertain them. We repeat them. And in doing so, we suffer. But you have the power to close the door. You have the power to let thoughts come and go without being disturbed by them. So, what can you do? How do you stop being controlled by your mind? The first step is awareness. Right now, as you listen to me, notice your thoughts. What is your mind saying? Is it resisting these words? Is it agreeing? Is it wandering elsewhere? Just observe. Do not fight it. Do not judge it. Just watch. This practice is called mindfulness. It is the art of watching your mind without getting caught in it. When a thought appears, simply acknowledge it and let it pass. Do not hold on to it. Do not push it away. Just let it float by like a cloud in the sky. In the beginning, this will feel difficult. Your mind will try to pull you back into its stories. But with practice, you will start to see the space between you and your thoughts. And in that space, there is peace. Many people believe they must control their minds. They try to force away bad thoughts, cling to good ones, and create a perfect mental state. But this is not the way. The more you fight your mind, the stronger it becomes. Imagine trying to calm a storm by shouting at the wind. It will only grow louder. Instead, learn to sit in stillness. Let the storm pass on its own. There is a story of a Zen master who was insulted by a man. The man shouted, cursed, and tried to provoke him. But the master simply smiled. When asked why he did not react, he said, if someone offers you a gift, and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong? In the same way, when a negative thought arises, you do not have to accept it. You do not have to make it your own. Let it pass, and it will lose its power over you. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and anger, they will grow. If you plant seeds of peace, wisdom, and love, they will grow instead. But remember, the weeds of negative thoughts will always try to return. Your job is not to eliminate them completely, but to recognize them for what they are, just passing thoughts. Pull them out when necessary, but do not fear them. By now, you might be wondering, how do I put this into practice? The answer is simple. Watch your mind. Every time a thought arises, ask yourself, is this thought helping me or harming me? If it is harmful, let it go. If it is helpful, nurture it. Do not resist, do not force, just observe. With time, you will become the master of your own mind. And when that happens, nothing will affect you the way it once did. You will still have thoughts, but they will no longer control you. You will still face challenges, but they will not shake you. You will still experience emotions, but they will flow like water, never staying for too long. This is the path to true freedom. This is the way of the mind. Now, take a deep breath. Let everything settle. And remember this, you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. And that awareness is unshakable. Impermanence, the art of letting go. Sit with me for a moment and listen carefully. Everything you know, everything you see, everything you feel, it is all changing. Right now, as you breathe, the world is shifting. The sun moves across the sky, the wind changes direction, and even the cells in your body are not the same as they were a moment ago. Nothing is still. Nothing stays the same. This is the truth of life. But here is the problem. We do not like change. We cling to things, hoping they will remain as they are. We hold on to people, expecting them to always be there. We grasp onto happiness, afraid it will slip away. And when things change, as they always do, we feel pain. We suffer not because life is cruel, but because we refuse to accept the way life moves. Think of the last time you were truly happy. Maybe you were with someone you loved, maybe you achieved something you worked hard for, or maybe you were simply enjoying a peaceful moment. Now, where is that moment? It is gone. It exists only in your memory. And yet, you wish you could bring it back. But no matter how hard you try, time does not move backward. It never does. Now, think of a time when you were suffering. Maybe someone hurt you, maybe you lost something dear, or maybe life just felt too heavy. But you are here now, and that pain has passed, hasn't it? Even the deepest wounds heal with time. Even the worst storms do not last forever. If you truly see this, you will begin to understand the nature of impermanence. Impermanence does not mean sadness. It does not mean loss. It is simply the way things are. Imagine the seasons: spring, summer, autumn, winter. They do not argue with each other. They do not fight to stay longer. They come and go as they must. If we could live like this, flowing with life instead of resisting it, how peaceful we would be. But the mind does not like to flow. The mind clings. It holds on to the past, replaying memories over and over. It worries about the future, creating fears that may never happen. The mind is always grasping, always fearing change. This is why we suffer. Not because things change, but because we refuse to let them go. Imagine holding a handful of sand. If you try to squeeze it tightly, what happens? The sand slips through your fingers. But if you keep your hand open, the sand remains. Life is the same. The more you try to hold on to things, people, emotions, experiences, the more they slip away. But if you learn to keep your hands open, to allow things to come and go naturally, you will find peace. You may wonder, if everything is impermanent, then what is the point of anything? But this is not a reason for sadness, it is a reason for freedom. Because everything changes, you are never truly stuck. Because everything moves, pain is never forever. Because nothing stays the same, new joys are always waiting to arise. Impermanence is not an enemy, it is a gift. Think of a river. The water you see in front of you now is not the same water that was there a moment ago. It is always flowing, always changing. Life is this river. You cannot hold on to the water, but you can learn to swim. The more you fight against the current, the more you struggle. But if you trust the flow, if you allow yourself to move with it, life becomes effortless. Look around you. Everything is temporary. The trees, the buildings, the people, even the sky above you, it will all change. Even you are changing. The person you were 10 years ago is not the person you are now. And the person you are today will not be the same 10 years from now. You are not static. You are not fixed. You are moving, just like everything else. So why hold on to pain? Why hold on to anger? Why hold on to things that no longer serve you? If a leaf falls from a tree, does the tree cry? No. It simply lets go and continues to grow. You must learn to do the same. Let go of what is gone. Accept what is here. Be open to what is coming. This is not easy. The mind will resist. It will tell you to hold on. It will tell you that things should stay the same. But listen closely. There is no peace in holding on to something that is meant to leave. There is no joy in trying to freeze time. True peace comes when you embrace change, when you trust that everything happens as it must. You may have lost things. You may have lost people. You may have lost moments that you wish could last forever. But instead of mourning what is gone, be grateful that it was ever here at all. Instead of wishing things had stayed the same, appreciate that they happened in the first place. Every moment, no matter how brief, is a gift. And every ending is just the beginning of something new. So sit with this truth. Let it settle into your heart. Life is always moving. Nothing is permanent. And that is okay. Because when you stop fearing change, when you stop resisting the flow of life, you will finally be free. The illusion of control, accepting life as it is. Sit with me for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel the air entering your body, then leaving. Notice how you cannot hold on to that breath forever. No matter how much you try, it must go. This is the nature of life, always moving, always changing. And yet, we try so hard to control things that were never meant to be controlled. Think about your daily life. You plan everything carefully, hoping things will go exactly as you expect. But then, something unexpected happens. A sudden delay, a disagreement, a change you didn't foresee. And in that moment, frustration takes over. You feel like everything is slipping from your hands. But was it ever truly in your hands to begin with? We cling to the idea that we can control everything, our future, our relationships, even the way people treat us. But the truth is, control is an illusion. No matter how much effort you put in, there will always be things beyond your reach. A person's words, a sudden storm, an unexpected loss. Life moves on its own path, and it does not stop for our desires. Imagine trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. But if you relax your hands, the water remains in your palms for a little longer. This is how life works. The more we try to control it, the more it resists. The moment we let go, we find peace. Many of our sufferings come from resisting reality. We want people to act a certain way. We want events to unfold according to our wishes. We want life to be predictable, stable, secure. But life is like the ocean, sometimes calm, sometimes wild. You cannot control the waves, but you can learn to ride them. Let me ask you this. How many times have you worried about something that never even happened? How much time have you spent trying to change things that were never in your power? We waste so much energy fighting against what is, instead of learning to flow with it. Buddhism teaches us to accept life as it is, not as we want it to be. This does not mean we stop making efforts or give up on our dreams. It simply means we understand the difference between what we can change and what we cannot. If it rains, you can bring an umbrella, but you cannot stop the rain from falling. When we let go of control, something incredible happens. We stop reacting with anger and frustration. We stop blaming ourselves and others. We start to see life for what it truly is, an ever-changing, unpredictable journey. And instead of fighting it, we learn to dance with it. Think of a leaf floating on a river. It does not resist the current. It does not try to move against the flow. It simply moves with the water, trusting the path ahead. That is the secret to peace, not forcing life to bend to your will, but learning to move with it. Every time something unexpected happens, you have two choices. You can resist it, letting anger and worry take over. Or you can accept it, adjust, and move forward. Which choice brings you peace? Which choice makes life easier? A wise person does not fight the storm. They seek shelter and wait for it to pass. A wise person does not try to control people. They understand that everyone has their own path. A wise person does not fear change. They embrace it, knowing that life is always shifting. Look back at your life. How many moments of pain came not from what happened, but from your refusal to accept it? How many times did suffering arise not from reality itself, but from your wish for it to be different? The truth is, life is neither for you nor against you. It simply is. And when you understand this, you stop struggling. So, what should you do? Stop trying to control everything. Stop expecting the world to move according to your desires. Instead, observe, adapt, flow. When you accept life as it is, you will find something you never had before: freedom. Freedom from stress, freedom from fear, freedom from the endless fight against reality. Let go, and see how light you feel. Let go, and watch how life continues, with or without your resistance. Let go, and finally, truly, find peace. Attachment and suffering, breaking free from emotional chains. Sit down for a moment. Breathe. Let's talk about something that holds most people back. Something that keeps them trapped in endless cycles of pain, attachment. You may not realize it, but almost everything that makes you suffer comes from one thing: holding on too tightly. Holding on to people, to expectations, to the past, to things you cannot control. And when those things change, as they always do, suffering follows. Think about it. Have you ever lost something that was important to you? Maybe a friendship faded, a relationship ended, a job slipped away, or a treasured possession broke. What happened? The pain didn't just come from the loss itself. It came from your mind refusing to let go. It came from the belief that things should have stayed the same. But nothing in life ever stays the same. Look at the waves in the ocean. They rise, they fall. They come, they go. But does the ocean suffer because the waves disappear? No. The ocean remains vast, deep, and at peace. You too can be like the ocean. You don't have to be disturbed by every wave that comes and goes in your life. Buddha once said, "The root of suffering is attachment." This means that suffering doesn't come from things themselves. It comes from our unwillingness to accept change. Imagine holding a rope tightly while someone pulls it away. The harder you grip, the more it burns your hands. If you just let go, the pain stops. This is what attachment does to you. It burns, it hurts, it makes you suffer. But what does letting go really mean? It doesn't mean you stop loving, stop caring, or stop working hard. It means you stop clinging. It means you love without trying to control, you care without expecting something in return, you work hard without being obsessed with the outcome. When you learn this, life becomes lighter. Your mind becomes free. Look around you. How many times have you seen people suffer over things that are beyond their control? A man loses his job and feels worthless. A woman ages and feels afraid. A child's favorite toy breaks, and they cry as if the world has ended. But is it the job, the age, the broken toy that causes the suffering? No. It is the attachment, the belief that these things should have lasted forever. Let's take love, for example. Love is beautiful, but when it turns into attachment, it becomes painful. If you truly love someone, you allow them to be free. You don't try to control them, possess them, or expect them to fulfill every need you have. But attachment disguises itself as love. It makes you think, I need this person to be happy. And when they change, leave, or disappoint you, suffering begins. Love without attachment, and you will never experience heartbreak in the same way again. And what about expectations? Have you ever planned something perfectly, only to see it fall apart? Maybe you expected a perfect day, but it rained. Maybe you expected people to treat you kindly, but they didn't. Maybe you expected success, but failure came instead. Expectations tie you to suffering because they make you believe that things must go your way. When you release expectations, you welcome life as it comes. This doesn't mean you stop striving for good things. It means you stop being devastated when things don't go as planned. You still work, you still love, you still dream, but you do it with a free heart, without fear of losing what was never yours to keep. Do you see how much peace there is in this way of living? You no longer feel shaken when things don't go as expected. You no longer feel broken when something ends. You no longer feel lost when change comes. Because deep inside, you know the truth, nothing was ever permanent to begin with. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Each stone represents an attachment, a fear, an expectation, a need for control. You walk through life carrying this weight, feeling exhausted, struggling with every step. But what if you started removing the stones? One by one, you let go. Suddenly, you can walk freely. You feel lighter. You feel alive. Buddhism is not about abandoning life. It is about embracing it fully, without chains. You can still have desires, but don't be trapped by them. You can still have relationships, but don't lose yourself in them. You can still chase your dreams, but don't let failure destroy you. Life is always moving, and when you flow with it instead of resisting, you become untouchable. Think about a tree in the storm. A rigid tree, unwilling to bend, will break under the pressure. But a flexible tree, one that sways with the wind, will survive even the harshest weather. Be like the flexible tree. Bend, adapt, flow with life, and nothing will ever break you. So, look at your life now. What are you holding onto too tightly? What is causing you pain because you refuse to let go? Ask yourself, do I really need this attachment? Or is it just a habit? And if it is hurting me, why am I still clinging to it? The truth is, you don't have to suffer. The moment you loosen your grip, suffering fades. The moment you stop needing things to be a certain way, peace enters. In the moment you understand that everything is temporary, you become truly free. Let go, not because you don't care, but because you care enough to choose peace over pain. Mindfulness, the key to emotional resilience. Sit down, take a breath. Just for a moment, let everything else fade away. No worries, no stress, no past, no future. Just this breath. Just this moment. Feels different, doesn't it? Feels lighter. This is the power of mindfulness. Most people live like a leaf in the wind, constantly being tossed around by emotions, thoughts, and external events. One moment, they're happy. The next, they're angry, sad, or frustrated. Why? Because their minds are never here. They are trapped in regrets of the past or worries about the future. They react to everything without awareness. But a mindful person? They stand still while the wind blows. They see everything, yet they remain unshaken. Imagine walking down a crowded street. People rushing, cars honking, voices blending into a never-ending noise. Most people are lost in it. Their minds are as busy as the street itself. But what if you slowed down? What if, instead of rushing, you simply observed? The sound of footsteps, the rhythm of your breath, the feeling of the air on your skin. Suddenly, the chaos fades. You are still walking in the same street, but now, you are present. This is mindfulness. The world will always be loud. Life will always throw unexpected situations at you. But mindfulness is the difference between being controlled by life and simply witnessing it. When you are mindful, nothing controls you. Not anger, not fear, not stress. Everything just comes and goes, like waves in the ocean. And you? You're the ocean, not the waves. Have you ever noticed how easily the mind gets caught up in small things? A rude comment, a delayed plan, a single mistake. The mind clings to these things, spinning them over and over until they feel much bigger than they actually are. But if you stop and observe, you'll see the truth. These thoughts are just passing clouds. Why hold on to them? Why let them ruin your peace? Try this. The next time you feel anger rising, pause. Don't react. Just notice. Feel how it moves in your body, how your chest tightens, how your mind races. But instead of getting lost in it, just breathe. In that moment, you are free. The anger is still there, but it no longer owns you. This is mindfulness in action. The beauty of mindfulness is that it doesn't require anything special. You don't need a quiet place, incense, or hours of meditation. You can practice it anywhere, at any time. When drinking tea, truly drink it. Feel the warmth, taste the flavor. When walking, truly walk. Feel the ground beneath your feet. When listening, truly listen. Be fully there, without waiting for your turn to speak. Buddha once said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." If your mind is always restless, filled with worries and distractions, your life will feel restless too. But if your mind is calm, clear, and present, your life will reflect a peace. The choice is always yours. Many people think mindfulness is difficult, but in truth, it is the most natural thing in the world. Children do it all the time. Have you ever watched a child playing? They are completely in the moment, lost in their own world, unaware of anything else. But as we grow, we lose this ability. We start overthinking, overanalyzing, and worrying about things that don't even exist yet. Mindfulness is not learning something new. It is returning to something we have forgotten. When you live mindfully, you begin to see things differently. A simple meal becomes a moment of joy. A walk in the park becomes a meditation. Even ordinary tasks like washing dishes or folding clothes become peaceful when done with full attention. Life itself becomes more alive. Mindfulness also teaches you patience. When you are mindful, you do not rush. You do not force things. You allow life to unfold naturally. Just like a tree does not try to grow faster, you too learn to trust the process. You understand that everything happens in its own time. There will still be challenges. There will still be difficult moments. But mindfulness gives you the ability to face them without losing yourself. Imagine a storm in the ocean. The surface is wild, waves crashing, wind roaring. But deep down, the ocean is still, untouched. Your mind can be like that. No matter what happens on the surface, you remain calm inside. Think about this. What if nothing had the power to disturb you anymore? Not because life became perfect, but because you became unshakable? What if, instead of reacting to everything, you could simply observe, understand, and let go? That is the power of mindfulness. That is true freedom. So, right now, in this moment, take a breath. Feel it enter your body. Feel it leave. For just a few seconds, let there be nothing but this breath. Just this moment. This is mindfulness. This is peace. The power of detachment, finding freedom within. Sit with me for a moment. Close your eyes if you wish. Imagine a bird soaring high in the sky, gliding effortlessly with the wind. It does not cling to the clouds, nor does it resist the breeze. It simply moves, free and unburdened. Now, imagine if this bird tried to hold on to the air, gripping it tightly in fear of losing control. It would struggle, panic, and fall. This is how most people live, clinging to things, fearing loss, and suffering because of it. But what if you could be like the bird? What if you could let go and still remain at peace? Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you abandon love, ambition, or joy. Detachment means you stop holding on so tightly that life begins to hurt you. It means you experience things fully but are not controlled by them. It is freedom. Think about this. How many times have you been deeply hurt because you expected something to last forever? A relationship, a job, a moment of happiness. When things change, when people leave, when circumstances shift, the pain comes from resistance. We refuse to accept what is. But life is always changing, always flowing. Holding on too tightly only creates suffering. You must understand, everything you have, everything you love, is like water in your hands. Hold it gently, and it will remain with you for a time. Clutch it too hard, and it will slip through your fingers. This is why detachment is not coldness, but wisdom. It allows you to love without fear, to enjoy without anxiety, to live without suffering. Have you ever noticed that the happiest moments in life come when you are fully present, without worrying about the future or the past? A child laughing, a sunset over the ocean, a deep conversation with a friend. These moments are pure because you are not clinging to them. You are simply experiencing them as they are. Detachment allows you to do this with everything in life, not just the joyful moments, but the painful ones too. People often ask, but if I detach, won't I lose everything? No. In fact, you will gain everything. When you stop clinging, you open yourself to what life truly has to offer. You stop fearing change, and instead, you flow with it. The trees do not resist the wind. They bend, they dance, they move with it. This is how you must be. Imagine you are holding a rope, and someone is pulling on the other end. The harder you grip, the more it burns your hands. But the moment you let go, the pain stops. This is how attachment works. The tighter you hold on, the more you suffer. But when you release, you are free. Look at nature. The river does not cling to its banks. The clouds do not hold onto the sky. Everything moves, everything changes, and yet, everything is as it should be. You too are part of this great flow. When you embrace detachment, you stop fearing the unknown. You stop resisting life. And in doing so, you find peace. But detachment is not something you learn in a day. It is a practice. It starts with awareness, watching your own mind, noticing when you are clinging, when you are resisting. It starts with small steps, letting go of minor frustrations, accepting small changes, practicing stillness in moments of discomfort. Over time, you begin to see the truth. Nothing truly belongs to you. And that is a beautiful thing. You do not own the moments that pass through your life, but you can experience them fully. You do not own the people you love, but you can cherish them deeply. You do not own anything, not even your thoughts, not even your emotions. They come, they go, like waves in the ocean. The key is to observe without being swept away. Think about the last time you felt anger, sadness, or frustration. Where is that emotion now? It came, and now it is gone. Just like everything else, emotions are temporary. If you learn to observe them instead of reacting to them, they lose their power over you. You remain still, like the deep waters beneath the waves. There is a famous Zen story of a monk carrying a heavy bag of rice up a mountain. Another monk sees him and asks, "Why do you carry such a heavy load?" The monk smiles and replies, "What load?" The wise one understands, when you stop seeing something as a burden, it stops being one. Detachment is not about removing yourself from life, but about removing the idea that life must be a certain way for you to be happy. Let go of the need for control. Let go of the idea that things must last forever. Let go of the belief that your happiness depends on something outside of you. True peace comes when you understand that everything is fleeting, yet everything is enough. If you can master detachment, you can master life. No longer will small things shake you. No longer will change frighten you. No longer will you suffer over things that were never meant to be held on to in the first place. Be like the bird in the sky. Be like the river that flows. Be like the wind that moves freely. Let go, and you will finally be free. Compassion and wisdom, balancing heart and mind. Sit down. Take a deep breath. Let go of everything for a moment. Forget the worries, the distractions, the noise of the world. Just be here, in this moment. Now, ask yourself, what does it truly mean to live wisely? What does it mean to be compassionate? Some people believe wisdom is about knowledge and compassion is about kindness. But true wisdom is deeper than knowledge, and true compassion is more than just being kind. They are two sides of the same coin, inseparable and essential. Without wisdom, compassion can make us weak. Without compassion, wisdom can make us cold. Life often pushes us in different directions. Some days, we are ruled by emotions. We care deeply, we feel everything, and we want to help others. But other days, we grow tired. We see the selfishness of people, the unfairness of the world, and we think, maybe it's better to just protect ourselves, to stay distant, to stop caring. This is where most people get stuck, swinging between the heart and the mind, never finding balance. But balance is possible. Imagine a tree standing tall. Its roots are deep in the earth, strong and unshakable, that is wisdom. But its branches spread wide, reaching for the sky, embracing the world, that is compassion. The tree does not choose between the two. It grows in both directions at once, strong and open, firm yet gentle. Compassion without wisdom can make us suffer. If you always put others before yourself, if you try to help everyone without understanding your own limits, you will burn out. You will feel used, drained, exhausted. True compassion is not about sacrificing yourself completely. It is about giving from a place of strength, like a candle that shines brightly but does not melt away in an instant. Wisdom without compassion, on the other hand, can make us distant. Some people believe that to be wise, you must detach from everything, feel nothing, care for no one. But this is not wisdom, it is emptiness. True wisdom does not close the heart, it opens it. It sees clearly, understands deeply, but never forgets the warmth of kindness. Think of a river flowing through the mountains. It does not stop for obstacles, it does not resist. It simply moves forward, finding its way around rocks and valleys, never losing itself. This is how wisdom and compassion work together. Compassion allows you to feel, to connect, to care. Wisdom allows you to see, to understand, to move through life without being trapped by emotions. How do we bring these two together? First, by understanding that they are not separate. You do not have to choose between feeling deeply and thinking clearly. You can do both. When someone is suffering, do not just feel their pain, understand it. And when you understand it, you will know the right way to help, without losing yourself in the process. A wise person does not simply give what others ask for. They give what is truly needed. Sometimes, kindness is soft words and comfort. Other times, kindness is truth, even if it is difficult to hear. Imagine a child reaching for fire. Would you let them burn their hand just because they want to? Or would you stop them, even if they cry and do not understand? That is true compassion, the courage to do what is right, not just what is easy. And what about wisdom? True wisdom is not about being above emotions. It is about understanding them. If you feel pain, do not push it away. Observe it. Learn from it. If you feel anger, do not be ashamed. Understand why it is there. Emotions are not enemies, they are teachers. They show us where we are still attached, where we still have lessons to learn. Do not mistake detachment for coldness. Some people believe that to be at peace, they must feel nothing. But the goal is not to be empty, the goal is to be free. Free to feel, without being controlled by feelings. Free to love, without being weakened by love. Free to care, without being trapped by the suffering of the world. The Buddha once said, holding on to anger is like holding a hot coal, expecting the other person to get burned. In the same way, holding on to suffering, guilt, resentment, these things only harm us. Wisdom allows us to let go, but compassion allows us to stay open. Together, they create a life that is both peaceful and meaningful. So, what should you do? How do you find this balance? Start with yourself. Be kind to yourself, but also be honest. Do not judge yourself for feeling emotions, but also do not let them control you. Observe them, understand them, and then decide how to act. When you interact with others, do the same. Feel for them, care for them, but do not let their emotions shake your inner peace. Help when you can, step back when you must, and always choose what is truly right, not just what feels right in the moment. Remember, the ocean does not fight the waves, it lets them rise and fall, knowing that its depth remains unchanged. Be like the ocean. Let life come and go. Let joy and sorrow pass through you. Feel everything, but do not be shaken. This is the balance of wisdom and compassion. This is true inner peace. Overcoming negativity, transforming challenges into growth. Sit down for a moment. Take a deep breath. Let everything settle. Now, think about the last time something upset you. Maybe it was someone's harsh words, a mistake you made, or just one of those days when everything felt wrong. Negativity is everywhere, and no matter how much we try to avoid it, it finds its way into our lives. But the real question is, why do we let it control us? A single negative thought can grow like a wildfire. One small criticism, one bad experience, and suddenly, our whole mood changes. We carry the weight of these emotions, letting them shape how we feel, how we react, and even how we see ourselves. But is that necessary? Must we always be at the mercy of negativity? Buddhism teaches us that negativity itself is not the problem. The real issue is how we react to it. Imagine a strong wind blowing through a forest. Some trees bend and sway, allowing the wind to pass through, while others resist and break. The mind is like that. If we resist negativity, fight against it, or try to push it away, it only grows stronger. But if we learn to let it pass, like the wind through the trees, it loses its power over us. When someone insults us, we often react immediately. Anger rises, our heart beats faster, and we want to fight back. But have you ever stopped to ask, where is this anger coming from? Is it really the words of the other person? Or is it something within us that allows those words to hurt? The Buddha once said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. When we hold on to negativity, we are the ones who suffer. The other person moves on, but we remain trapped in our own pain. So how do we free ourselves? How do we stop negativity from taking over our minds? The answer is simple: awareness. When a negative thought or emotion arises, pause. Observe it. Where did it come from? Why does it affect you so deeply? Instead of reacting, simply notice it. The moment you bring awareness to negativity, it starts to lose its grip on you. Think of a dark room. No matter how long that room has been in darkness, the moment you light a candle, the darkness disappears. Awareness is that light. The more you observe your emotions without reacting to them, the less power they have over you. Negativity is like a storm. It comes, it rages, and then it passes. But what do? Instead of letting it pass, we stand in the rain, getting drenched, cursing the storm for existing. What if, instead, we simply stepped inside, watched the rain through a window, and waited for the sun to return? Many people think avoiding negativity means ignoring problems or pretending bad things don't happen. But that's not true. Avoidance is just another form of resistance. Real freedom comes when you face negativity without becoming it. You see the storm, but you don't let it shake your inner peace. Imagine you are walking on a busy street. Cars are rushing by, people are shouting, and there is noise everywhere. But you don't try to stop the traffic. You don't chase after every car. You simply walk, aware of everything but not disturbed by it. That is how the mind should handle negativity. Life will always bring challenges. People will say things, situations will change, and unexpected difficulties will come. But you don't have to be shaken by every storm. Instead of seeing negativity as an enemy, what if you saw it as a teacher? What if, every time something upset you, you asked yourself, what can I learn from this? A difficult person teaches patience. A failure teaches humility. A loss teaches appreciation. Every challenge has the power to make you stronger, but only if you allow it. Instead of reacting with frustration, respond with curiosity. Instead of thinking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? There is a story of a Zen master who was once insulted by a visitor. The man shouted at him, called him names, and tried to provoke a reaction. But the master simply smiled and remained silent. Finally, the man asked, why don't you say anything? Why don't you react? The master replied, if someone offers you a gift, but you do not accept it, who does the gift belong to? The man hesitated. To the one who offered it, he said. The master nodded. Then why should I accept your anger? Negativity is a gift you don't have to take. When someone brings anger, hate, or criticism to you, you have a choice. You can accept it and let it poison your mind, or you can let it pass without touching you. Buddhism teaches us that true strength is not in fighting negativity, but in not being moved by it. Like a mountain standing strong against the wind, like a river flowing smoothly over obstacles, you can learn to remain calm no matter what life brings. This doesn't mean you will never feel negative emotions again. They will come, but they won't control you. They will pass, but they won't leave scars. Instead of being caught in the storm, you will become the sky of vast, open, and untouched by the passing clouds. So the next time something negative enters your life, pause. Take a breath. Observe it. And then, let it go. You are not your anger. You are not your sadness. You are not your fear. You are the awareness behind them, untouched, unshaken, free. The middle way, walking the path of balance. Sit down for a moment. Breathe. Feel the air moving in and out. Now, think about your life. Have you ever felt pulled in two directions? One part of you wants to chase success, while another part craves peace. One side urges you to be kind, but another wants to fight back when someone wrongs you. You want to enjoy life's pleasures, yet you know too much attachment leads to suffering. This constant battle within, this struggle between extremes, is what keeps most people restless. But what if I told you there is another way? A way that is neither too much nor too little. A way that does not reject life's joys, nor get lost in them. A way that does not avoid responsibility, but does not carry unnecessary burdens either. This is the middle way, the path that leads to true freedom. The Buddha himself discovered this path after years of extreme living. First, he lived as a prince, surrounded by luxury, drowning in pleasure. But he saw that wealth and indulgence did not bring lasting peace. So he abandoned everything and became a wandering monk, pushing his body to the limits, starving himself, rejecting comfort. Yet, he still did not find enlightenment. It was only when he stopped swinging between these two extremes, when he found balance, that he awakened to the truth. Think of a string on a musical instrument. If it is too loose, it will not play a sound. If it is too tight, it will snap. But when it is tuned just right, it produces beautiful music. Life is the same. If you live without discipline, chasing every desire, you become lost in distractions. But if you reject everything, denying yourself even simple joys, life becomes suffering. True peace comes when you walk the middle path, when you find harmony between effort and ease, between letting go and holding on. Look around you. The world is full of extremes. Some people are consumed by their ambitions, working endlessly, never resting, always wanting more. Others give up completely, choosing laziness or apathy, thinking nothing matters. Some people drown in emotions, reacting to every little thing, while others suppress their feelings, pretending to be unshaken but suffering inside. The middle way is neither of these. It is about moving through life with wisdom, knowing when to act and when to let go. Imagine you are crossing a river. If you try to fight the current, you will exhaust yourself. But if you do nothing, the river will carry you away. The wise person neither resists nor surrenders. They move with awareness, stepping carefully, using the flow of the water to guide them. This is how we must approach life. You may ask, but how do I find this balance? The answer is simple, yet not always easy. Observe yourself. Watch how your mind reacts to things. Do you become too attached to success, fearing failure? Do you avoid challenges, afraid of discomfort? Do you let emotions control you, or do you suppress them completely? Balance begins with awareness. When you truly see your own patterns, you can start walking the middle path. One of the greatest mistakes people make is thinking that balance means doing nothing. This is not true. The middle way is about right effort, not too much, not too little. If you are too strict with yourself, pushing beyond your limits, you will burn out. If you're too soft, avoiding discomfort, you will never grow. True balance means knowing when to rest and when to push forward. Some days, you need discipline. You must get up, face your challenges, and do what must be done. Other days, you need rest. You must allow yourself to breathe, to recharge, to simply be. The middle way is knowing which day it is. In relationships, balance is just as important. Too much attachment leads to suffering, but pushing people away out of fear also creates pain. The middle way is about loving deeply, but not possessing. It is about caring, but not clinging. It is about giving, but not losing yourself in the process. Even in thoughts, balance is key. If you spend too much time lost in dreams, you miss reality. If you are too focused on the present, ignoring all plans, you may become lost. A wise person balances thinking and living, planning and doing, dreaming and acting. Walking the middle way does not mean life will be perfect. There will still be ups and downs, moments of joy and moments of struggle. But when you are balanced, you do not get lost in either. You enjoy happiness, knowing it will pass. You face hardships, knowing they too will fade. This is true freedom, not being controlled by anything, not being shaken by life's changes. Look at nature. The sun rises, then sets. The tides come in, then go out. The seasons change, yet life continues. Nothing is fixed, nothing is absolute. The middle way is about flowing with this rhythm, understanding that everything moves in cycles. When you accept this, life becomes peaceful. So, ask yourself, are you swinging between extremes, or are you walking the middle path? Are you lost in excess, or are you rejecting life? Are you trapped in fear, or are you moving with wisdom? The choice is yours. But remember, true peace is not found in extreme living, it is found in balance. Enlightenment in daily life, applying Buddhist principles. Listen carefully, my dear friend. Enlightenment is not something distant. It is not locked away in temples or hidden in the mountains. It is right here, in this moment, in your everyday life. It is in the way you breathe, the way you speak, the way you react to the world around you. But the question is, do you see it? Many believe that enlightenment is something grand, something only a few special people can achieve. But that is not true. Enlightenment is simple. It is not about performing miracles or living without problems. It is about seeing things as they truly are. It is about walking through life with a clear mind, untouched by anger, fear, or attachment. It is about living with wisdom, in complete harmony with the world. Think about the last time you felt frustrated. Maybe someone said something hurtful, maybe something didn't go as planned. In that moment, what happened inside you? Your mind created resistance. It wanted things to be different. It wanted to change the situation. And because reality did not match your expectation, suffering arose. This is the nature of the human mind. It clings, it resists, it struggles. But suffering is not caused by the world. It is caused by how we react to the world. Imagine a person standing in the rain, complaining that they are getting wet. No matter how much they shout at the sky, the rain will not stop. But another person simply opens an umbrella or walks without resistance, accepting the rain as it is. The situation is the same, but the experience is completely different. One fights reality and suffers, while the other embraces it and remains at peace. This is the key to enlightenment in daily life. It is not about escaping the world. It is about seeing clearly, accepting fully, and responding wisely. Every situation, good or bad, is an opportunity to practice. Every difficulty is a lesson. Every person you meet is a teacher. If you understand this, then every moment becomes a step toward freedom. Now, let me ask you, how often do you get lost in your thoughts? How often does your mind drag you into the past or push you into the future? You think about what happened yesterday. You worry about what will happen tomorrow. But where is life actually happening? Right here, in this very moment. And yet, we miss it. We live in the prison of our own minds, trapped by thoughts that have no real substance. The great Zen masters teach, be where you are. When you eat, just eat. When you walk, just walk. When you listen, truly listen. This is mindfulness, not something mystical, but something natural. When you live like this, your mind becomes quiet. You start to see beauty in the smallest things, the sound of the wind, the feeling of your breath, the warmth of the sun on your skin. These are not ordinary moments. They are life itself. But enlightenment is not just about peace. It is also about compassion. Many people misunderstand this. They think wisdom means detachment, that an enlightened person does not care about anything. But that is not true. The more you see reality clearly, the more love arises within you. Not the love that clings or expects something in return, but a pure love, a love that flows freely, without effort, like a river. Look at the Buddha, or any great master. They were not emotionless. They were filled with kindness. They understood suffering, so they responded with compassion. They did not get angry at those who were unkind. They did not take offense when people misunderstood them. Because they saw deeply, they understood that everyone is trapped in their own illusions. When you realize this, how can you be angry? How can you hold hatred in your heart? But this does not mean you let people walk over you. True wisdom is strong, not weak. It knows when to be silent and when to speak. It knows when to be still and when to act. It is not controlled by emotion, but guided by clarity. This is the balance of enlightenment, being fully engaged in life, yet untouched by it. You do not need to sit in a cave to practice this. You can practice right where you are. In traffic, in conversations, in difficult situations, every moment is a chance to wake up. When frustration arises, observe it. When anger comes, do not become it. When fear appears, watch it like a passing cloud. The more you do this, the less power these emotions have over you. And then, something beautiful happens. Life becomes effortless. You stop chasing happiness. You stop running from pain. You simply flow, like water. You smile more. You worry less. You become light, free, unshaken by the storms of life. Many people spend their whole lives searching for happiness, never realizing that it is already within them. They think they will be happy when they get more money, when they find the right person, when things go exactly as they want. But life does not work that way. If your peace depends on external things, it will always be fragile. True peace is independent. It does not depend on anything outside of you. This is what Buddhism teaches, not to escape life, but to embrace it fully, with a clear mind and an open heart. You do not need to wait for enlightenment. You do not need to go anywhere to find it. It is already here, in this moment, waiting for you to see it. So, my friend, the question is not can you live this way? The question is will you? Will you choose to let go of resistance? Will you choose to see life with new eyes? Will you choose peace over struggle, clarity over confusion? The choice has always been yours. Conclusion. Embracing peace, no matter what happens. You have walked this path with me, step by step, thought by thought. Now, we stand at the end of this journey, but in truth, this is only the beginning of a new way of seeing, a new way of being. You are no longer the person who started this journey. Something has shifted within you. You feel it, don't you? A quiet understanding, a deeper stillness. Look back for a moment. Remember the days when your emotions controlled you, when a single word, a single event, could ruin your peace? Remember how the mind jumped from thought to thought, like a restless monkey, always chasing, always running? But now, you know better. You have seen the truth. You have felt what it means to be free. Life will not stop testing you. The world will still bring challenges, unexpected turns, moments of joy and sorrow. People will still speak words that can hurt. Situations will still arise that can shake you. But the difference is this: you are no longer a slave to them. They may come, but they will not control you. They may touch you, but they will not break you. The river of life keeps flowing. You cannot stop the waves, but you have learned to surf. You have understood that clinging to anything, success, failure, love, loss, only brings suffering. And now, you have the wisdom to let go, to accept, to be. This is the essence of true freedom. There is nothing to seek, nothing to achieve. You do not need to win at life. You do not need to be in control of everything. The moment you stop resisting, the moment you stop fighting with reality, peace enters like a silent breeze. This peace has always been there, waiting for you to notice. Happiness was never outside of you. It was never in the next achievement, the next relationship, the next moment. It was here, within you, all along. You only had to look. You only had to stop chasing, to stop running. And in that stillness, you found everything. Do you see now? The world has not changed, but you have. And that changes everything. Now, take a deep breath. Feel the air entering your lungs. Feel the weight of your body against the ground. Be here, fully. This moment is all there is. This moment is enough. And you, exactly as you are, in this moment, are enough. Let life flow. Let it come and go. Watch the thoughts, watch the emotions, but do not let them pull you away from yourself. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness behind them, the silent observer, the unshaken mountain in the midst of the storm. You are free. Free from the illusion that the outside world controls your happiness. Free from the need to grasp, to hold, to fear. No matter what happens, no matter what life brings, you now have the wisdom to remain still, to remain at peace. This is not the end. This is the beginning of a life where nothing can truly disturb you. You will still feel, you will still care, but you will not be controlled by anything outside of you. You will move through the world with a light heart and a steady mind. And now, I have one last request for you. If this journey has touched you, if you have felt even a small shift within, help us share this wisdom with others. There are thousands, millions, still caught in the storm of their own minds. Still suffering, still searching. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And most importantly, share your thoughts in the comments. Your words might reach someone who truly needs them. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you for opening your heart, for listening, for seeking. Now, go and live this wisdom, not just in words, but in every breath, every moment. No matter what happens, do not let anything affect you.